Yo, what is up, everybody? Welcome to the Dynamic Dan's podcast. I'm Dan,
I'm also down.
and today, as you read by the title, we are doing a way too soon, 2 months and a bit before the year even ends, wrestling award show, um, where we plan to go back sometime, January, when it is 2022, and we sort of look back and be like, well, did it actually finish this way? Because to be honest, part of the reason I was okay with this idea is because if you think about it, between like the fall and like the early winter, there's Survivor Series and there's really nothing else in wrestling because then we're getting ready for Rumble and the Mania push. I mean, things might not change, things could change. It depends on what happens. But as we will do with every episode, Dan, what are you drinking?
So I have the UK people may know this. I have a squash. Americans don't know what squash is. They don't have squash.
To us,
Basically,
yeah.
it's like a it's like similar to Kool-Aid, I suppose you would say, but instead of like powder, it's like a liquid. So it's like a liquid sort of flavored syrup sort of thing, and then you put that in your drink, pour water
It
into
might be
it,
like
give
it
it a
might be like
mix,
it
and
might
it's
be
like
like Mio.
sure,
It's probably similar to a Mio.
yeah,
But
nothing special.
squash to us is either a trash sport or or a vegetable. So
We also have squash
you
though as
also
well.
have
Like we have
you
squash
have
the
those
vegetable,
squashes,
but
yeah.
squash
All
the
right.
drink.
For
Or
me,
diluted, whatever you
and
call
I'm not gonna try to plug this too much, but for me, I'm drinking a Mountain
it.
Dew, Mountain Dew today.
Mm.
Let me crack it open for the homies.
I'm very jealous. I'm jealous right now. It's my favorite drink, bro.
Bro, Mountain Dew goes so hard. All right,
Mountain Dew is fucking good.
that's how you know it's our favorite drink because we're real gamers. Um,
Correct. Doritos.
and one other thing that I want to say before we get started with any of the proceedings, I said that like we were doing a damn like this is a real
Like a
Zoom
meeting.
call.
Like this is a real meeting.
Um, as you can see, the big old sexy logos behind Heel Boy's head.
Oh, if I do this.
Heel
Yeah.
Heat.
Indeed.
I'll
Heel Heat.
I'll let you explain what's
Let
going
me
on
do
with all
my
that.
my spiel.
Yes, do your
So
plug.
Heel Heat is my new t-shirt brand that is coming soon to whatamaneuver.net. It is just going to be a little side project for me that I do outside of work. Colleagues David was also a shirt I made. Um, didn't make this one though. I wish I did. Shout out
Man, yeah,
Suplex.
true, big
Um,
true.
but yeah, Heel Heat is just a little side project for me to earn some dollar. Hopefully, make it something bigger in the future if possible, and then just see what happens. I wanted to do it for a long time, and I'm actually doing it. So here it is.
Yeah,
It's been like a year in
it,
the making.
and that's big true. The fact that he's been wanting to do it for a while. I still, it's been a
It's
long
been.
time since you first mentioned like the name Heel Heat.
I could probably like give that a search on my Deers fucking good and find when I
It
first mentioned that.
it had to have been like the spring of this year, and now we're in October.
It was 15th November last year.
God damn, really?
Yeah, so it was nearly a year in the making since I wanted to do this. So
Oh my
I actually
goodness.
took the plunge this year. Well, towards the end of the year.
Hey, that's a life lesson for anyone listening. That sometimes
Is it?
patience.
We
That's
got
all
it.
you need to have patience. Things will come together.
I mean, the
Um,
story's not up yet. It is up soon though. Next sort of 3 weeks.
when it is up, you can guarantee I will be plugging it. If you look at I will make sure I get it
I'll be
in the
wearing it.
description. If you look at the link in the bio, or in the description, there is a link to the Twitter account for Heel Heat. I'll put that in there for the homie.
At
Um,
Feel the Heel Heat.
yeah, feel the heel heat. I'm feeling that heat. I'm actually
So
not feeling that heat. This is one thing about this setup that I have. There's a vent directly under the desk for this computer, and it just hits my legs so hard
I'm cold
whenever
too,
the
bro.
cool air
It's
comes on,
cold here
bro.
too. It's cold here too because I live like in it like a 2 story flat, so it's fucking. I'm high up and the temperature's like
It's high up in England. I mean, what do you expect?
it's 12 degrees right now. Hold on, what's that for you?
12 Celsius is. I used to know
Celsius
that.
is 53 Fahrenheit.
Yeah, that's brutal.
It's pretty chilly.
Here it's about 70 something. It's about mid 70s right now Fahrenheit for us, which I think is I don't
23. That's pretty warm. We would call that a
it's
warm day.
yeah, it's decent. It's a decent day. I will say, I
Very nice.
mean, I don't know Celsius. I don't know Stone. I don't know any of that stuff. I need
No,
to start
I'm
learning.
British. I've got to know that. I've got
I
to
know.
know it.
You're
Unfortunately,
forced.
that's what I live in. That's what I do.
My man Hillboy said, "Bro, I'm just smarter than you, and you just gotta accept
Yeah,
it." Now,
correct.
the picture behind his head is obviously his clothing line coming up soon. The picture behind my head, um, all I'll say is hashtag wet floor gate, and
Oh, let's go.
I did not lose that fight fairly, but I do still respect my opponent who did win. He's actually he actually I actually we were kind of half joking, but we started talking about a rematch, and he
Oh
actually said that he
no.
didn't want to do it. And I'm like, why wouldn't you? You look at how the first one went, you could probably kill me.
Oh my
But
god.
um no, I'm trying to get in shape as you can see by this picture. I mean, I was a chunky boy. Wow, my finger.
Was.
I was a pretty chunky boy. Now I'm still a chunky boy, but I'm not as chunky. I've lost probably 15 to 20 pounds since then.
I don't know
So,
if that's a lot. It sounds good. Well done.
I the thing is
Watch
though, I'm
out.
still fat cuz I'm only 5'8". So like losing 20 pounds
Still
whenever
pretty
you're
good.
5'8", it's still losing 20 pounds whenever you're 5'8" and still being like 210 pounds means that you were just morbidly obese at one point.
Bro,
But
I weighed myself the other day. I'm 250, like flat.
damn, we some
It's
big
gross.
boys. That's what you gotta love big men slapping meat though.
I'm like 4 inches taller than you though.
That is true.
So it's like,
Did you see the thing about Big E wanted to get a shirt that said "Big Men Slapping Meat" and they turned him down?
I fucking no wear that shit.
Dude, that would have been a
I'll
big
buy
hit
3 of
seller.
those. I might sell it.
Honestly, you should do
Big
it.
men
You
slapping
should
heel
make that
heat.
shirt. You should make that shirt.
Heel meat.
That should be one of the first Dynamic Dan shirts, and it should just be us like connecting
Slapping each
bellies in
other.
midair.
Oh, let's do it. I'm down. I'm down.
So what I was gonna say, that one last thing before we get into the awards. I know everyone's on the edge of their seats. Um, is old heel boy here. Um, had a fun night last night, and I'm just if between so he had a pretty fun night last night. Definitely hungover.
1,000%.
I just have bad like allergies. So if either of us are sniffling, sneezing, coughing, um,
That's it.
pooping our pants, pissing and shitting, it's from
All of the above.
it's yeah. If anything, then it's from previous. It's from recent events.
Yeah.
Yeah, last night Heel Boy jizzed all over the fucking concrete.
That's yeah, sure.
I
It
don't,
did.
dude. I don't care what YouTube does to me, bro. I will
It's
call them
barbecue
out.
sauce. It's barbecue sauce.
That was barbecue sauce. I could have sworn it was
It's
ketchup.
barbecue sauce. No, it's barbecue sauce. I stole it from the pub we were drinking in. I just put it in my jacket. Just
Wait,
took it.
what brand is it?
Oh god, Heinz barbecue sauce.
That's why I thought it was ketchup because Heinz is like the main ketchup people here.
Yeah, yeah, no, it is for us too. It's just they do a really good
Damn,
barbecue sauce too.
I did not realize Heinz was an international monopoly.
Yeah, man, 57 varieties. Good shit. No, genuinely, that I stole that barbecue sauce, and we went to. I don't know if you have these in America. We have like, well, of course you don't. We have like kebab shops. They're just sort of like
Oh
really
yeah.
shitty little like takeaway restaurants, like fast food. Pretty cheap, like they're good for money. You'll go in, you'll pay. How much I pay? Like £8, so £8 for. Like I got a big fucking chicken burger and like big chips.
Damn.
It's fucking great. And inside the place, I was fucking offering barbecue sauce to everyone that was eating. Like I was like, "Do you want barbecue sauce in your chip? You need barbecue sauce in your chip?
Okay, but
You want
Loki,
barbecue sauce in your burger?"
that's kind of a fight. You were as for being as drunk as you were being a good Samaritan.
They told me off. The guys that were there
Oh,
were like, "No, stop offering people." I asked for staff discount. I don't work there. Still didn't get it.
you're just like, hey
So
man, I've never met you before in my life, but can I get a discount?
that's it. Correct.
I
Every time.
respect it. I
Sometimes it
respect it.
works. Sometimes it works. You'd be surprised.
I need to start trying that. I need to just start being the biggest dick to every retail worker
I guess that it's easy
so I
when you're
get
drunk. It's
discounts.
way easier.
Oh, I can
If
imagine.
you're sober, you
Honestly,
pay stuff. It's just like, wait,
you know what? I should do that. I should just go out sober and just tell people to give me discounts
definitely
that I don't deserve.
give it a try.
Eventually, it's
There
going to
you
lead to
go.
me. It's going to lead to me doing stolen valor to get military discounts, and that's not going to be good. But um, so
Shit.
I'm just trying to make sure there's nothing else to say before we get into these awards. There'll be a little bit of an after show after we do these because we gotta discuss and whatnot. But so I had a podcast that I was sort of doing before this where there was no video. It was just some crappy like audio only on Spotify, pretty much exclusively, and like a bunch of it would tell me because it was through Anchor, right? And Anchor is a really cool app, but it would like upload it to a bunch of places that I never had heard of before. So
Right.
like no one listened to that, but we did this before on there where we talked about our 2020 wrestling awards, and we did most of the same awards that we're doing here, and then we did our top 5 wrestlers to look out for the year of 2021, which I will say both of us were actually pretty spot on for a lot of
Yeah.
people,
Yeah.
either good or bad. You know, it
I don't
let
have my list from last year though. So
the main one for me that made me really happy is that I put Big E on my list. So
that's
that one
that's
made me
it.
feel pretty good. But we are going to go through the exact same thing that we did last time. And I say last time as if anybody here has heard last time. You probably haven't, but we will be doing our wrestling awards. And like I said, we are doing these way too early. I know it's October, but
Let's go.
the vibe, the move, do it again in January where we sort of look back and see if anything changed, what we would agree with that we had on our October list, yada
That's
yada
it.
yada. And then if we keep this podcast going through 2022, we can do like the mid-year thing in like July instead of October. But
There we go. What I do?
so
I'm down.
I am gonna start. I have my
Morning.
list. The list come through there.
Mine's on
Have
my laptop, so if I'm like this, I'm looking at it.
alrighty.
Just make everyone look.
And I think so. Last time we just started from like the big guns and just worked our way down. But this one I'm gonna start
Build up
from
to it.
yeah. I'm gonna build up to the
I'm down.
top 2 awards because we don't do best wrestler. We do best male and best female. We're gonna build up to those 2 awards this year.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I'm gonna say let's start off with our best wrestling TV show. What did we think was the best show on television? Because
I
obviously, watching wrestling starts off with
mm,
watching something on television at some point in your life. So
that's it.
for me, and this show's out of all the shows this year that a big company ran, it is the newest. But AEW Rampage is my show of the year. I think I'm gonna love this show forever as long as it stays an hour long. I think having it only be an hour, it's just match after match after match. They don't really do too much extra on the show either. It just feels the most like a traditional wrestling television show out of like anything that's currently running right now.
That's fair.
And like I said, the concisus. That's a new word
It's
of
nice.
it being a 1 hour show. And the way that it, like I said, it just flows. Like it's just like three. It'll be like 3 matches in a promo, and all the matches will be decent or really good. And then you get out, you're happy, fun times. It's 11 o'clock at night on a Friday, and you're just sort of vibing. So
It's fair. It's definitely fair. Um, I did write down Rampage and then I took it away and changed it. So I agree, definitely. But I put Dynamite just because I think it's just completely changed the landscape of what wrestling television should be.
you know what? Fair enough.
You look at things like Raw and they're on for 3 hours and they don't do anything in 3 hours. Whereas I think you watch Dynamite for an hour and you know, I think you learn more about wrestling in that hour than you would in 3 hours of Raw or 2 hours of SmackDown or whatever the fuck the hours are these days. I did nearly go for NXT 2.0, but I think it's still too early to say that. As much as I do love it and think it's the most fucking batshit crazy program, it's crazy. They've done something really cool with it, but Dynamite is just different level to
And that's
what anything else is out there right now.
that's a very good pick because I mean we're basically going. I mean we're going the same company, just they're 2 shows. So I mean you can
Yeah,
really
you
they're
got it.
they're kind of interchangeable in a way, but I agree with you on that because it can't be a WWE show right now except for 2.0, but obviously 2.0 is so brand new that like you said, it's
Exactly.
just hasn't really sat well, and we don't know if it's gonna like get worse over time and then not be.
That's it.
But I think out of all the shows right now this year that have come out that aren't our current picks, that has the best chance to take over whenever we do our retrospective on this in a few months. Because
But it's looking really good.
if it keeps on its momentum right now, then it's gonna take it.
Yeah, it's really fucking good. I'm looking forward to the pay-per-view. I want to see what the pay-per-view is going to be like.
Yeah, I
There's a
agree.
pay-per-view's coming up. Takeover, isn't it?
Take
So,
over. Is it Halloween Havoc again?
yeah. Yeah.
That's gonna be fun. All right, so
Mm.
let's. You know what? Speaking of pay per views, let's just move on to best event slash pay per view for wrestling this year, and we're gonna do what we did the last time. We're gonna alternate on
Take it
who
says.
says their pick. So it'll start with Yo Boy.
I feel like we're going to have the exact same
I
here.
agree.
I don't. I put All Out.
Yeah,
I feel like you can't not pick that as the best event.
it's All Out.
You had Omega Christian, which was a fucking fantastic match. One of Christian's best match in like the past 10 years.
For sure.
Amazing match. Fucking CM Punk debuted. Well, returned.
Yeah, his first his debut match in AEW. Yeah,
And it was a fucking good match.
it was great.
Always a fucking good match.
It was a great match, and then
really fucking good.
obviously the one that I wouldn't be surprised if we talked about it later. The cage match between the Bucks and the Bros.
That's
one of the most like
mm,
to be honest, it's the most I've enjoyed a Young Bucks match in years.
long
That
time,
match.
yeah. Since they were in ROH and PW.
I there's a real honestly for me since the FTR match, but even then it was better than that. I think so. Like you could go so
super
much.
sick.
You could really go that far back. Another thing about All Out too was the big ending with all the
Yeah.
debuts was so sick. But we also like they debuted 3 big names because they also had the Ruby Soho debut on the same night.
Yeah, yeah.
And it still felt like we remembered all of them equally. Like it didn't feel like anyone overshadowed anyone else somehow.
It was so fucking weird the way they did it.
Yeah, I don't know how, but it was the biggest spectacle by far of any show this year.
I can't believe they did it. They're fucking crazy.
Yeah,
It's one insane show.
I
honestly,
and I don't know about you, but I actually had an honorable mention for best event.
I did not.
And this is kind of the reason why I didn't win is well, first off, it's not as good as All Out, but it's also kind of a cheat answer because it's not the entire event, but night one in particular of WrestleMania this year.
I'm going to be honest. I didn't watch WrestleMania
on my best event. Yeah, night one was.
I didn't watch Mania, so I can't.
Yeah, night one was main evented by Belair and Sasha because they wanted to have
saw the match.
Yes, they wanted to have a female.
I didn't watch the actual pay-per-views because I don't really care for WWE at the moment.
And you know what? That's fair, but WrestleMania is the type of thing that I just, for whatever reason, I was like, you know what? I got to watch it. And it was on the same night was the Bad Bunny wrestling match.
Yeah, yeah.
Which
I
was
did see a lot of highlights from night one.
I think potentially the best celebrity wrestling match ever.
He hit a Canadian fucking destroyer.
Hit a Canadian destroyer, and even besides a destroyer, he was having a great match up to that point still because he actually could bump.
And he was enjoying himself, which was the best
facts.
Thing. A lot of them do it for money. He actually enjoyed himself.
What else was on night one? Because there was a mid card match. What was it?
Oh,
but you know what it was? Opening the show was the Lashley McIntyre like rematch, kind of because Lashley was already the champ going in. That was actually very fun. I remember that match was really good.
Yeah,
there was. I'm trying to think. I think because Riddle versus Sheamus was on night 2, if I remember correctly. So it would have been the Intercontinental title that was on night 1. I can't remember what that match was, but I know it was good. Oh, you know what? I'm not thinking of the Intercontinental title. I'm thinking of Cesaro Seth Rollins. Was on that card. Was on night 1.
That's me. 37. It was on my birthday. That's the reason I didn't watch it.
That's fair. And honestly, I would put all of WrestleMania, but night 2 was pretty weak up until the main event, in my opinion. I think it had some moments where it's kind of like, up until the main event.
Are you thinking of Cesaro Rollins?
I think I totally am, yeah.
Style and Omos won the tag titles that night.
Yes. Okay, so yeah, you see why I like this show, but the actual Omos best event was All Out, though. But I think it was his first match. All right.
Yeah.
So now let's move on. Fair. Similar to best event, I think we're gonna have the same one for this one, but biggest surprise. I mean, I
know what you're gonna have put.
And this is the kind of thing where I didn't even want to put it because it wasn't actually a surprise whenever it happened because everyone knew it was going to happen.
I put a
But
different pick to what you're going to say,
see,
though.
and I almost did the same thing that you did because of the idea of like it wasn't really as big of a surprise because everyone knew it was going to happen. But I'm a mark. I'll accept it. CM Punk returning to wrestling was the biggest surprise for me, and almost the reason why I
It's not what
justified
I
it.
thought you were going to say,
No,
actually.
the reason why I justified it is because like I said, it felt like it wasn't even a surprise by the time it actually happened.
That's
Because
true.
everyone knew it was going to happen, but the more surprising thing to me was that I just thought this guy hated wrestling for the rest of his life and was never going to want to come back to it. And so it was the surprise to me was the entire build up and the entire like intrigue and the knowledge that he was going to come back before it actually happened was it didn't feel real until it happened. So
Mm,
like as much as it was kind of spoiled for us, it was one of those things that like I said, it just didn't feel real until it happened. And then it
fair.
was like, oh
It's
my,
definitely
and
fair.
honestly, it didn't even feel real till he had his first match.
It's not what I thought you were going to say.
So yeah, I think I do. Now that you say that, I think I do know what you thought I was gonna
I'm
say.
quite surprised. I'm quite surprised you went for that. I'm a big AEW mark. You know this. So I did write down Danielson Cole
Right,
because
right. I also had that down at one point.
I changed it to Malachi Black because
Ooh,
for me, I loved Tommy End when he was on the Indies before WWE. He used to come over here all the fucking time, so I knew of him pretty well. Um, Loved him in fucking NXT. His feud with, sorry to mention the name, but Velveteen fucking Dream was like one of the greatest feuds you'll ever see. And then when he actually did debut in AEW, it wasn't like it was a terrible debut. It wasn't like we knew it was going to happen. And the fact that it was on Cody, and out of the Malachi Black debut, we managed to get the Arn Anderson Glock promo.
that's a good point.
That's all. That says everything. I did have two honorable mentions as well, though. So I had Lucha Bros win the tag titles because no one thought it was going to happen.
You know what? That's true.
No one thought it was going to happen. And the other one, thinking about it now, it was announced a little bit. Big E winning the WWE title.
Yeah, that one was kind of like the way that they did it.
Yeah, they tweeted it.
They made it clear because they were trying to pop a rating, but
Exactly.
if you think about it in like a vacuum of him going from where he was at the start of the year to being the champion now, it is a surprise because it
They
didn't even.
surprised them.
Who would have thought that he was even going to win Money in the Bank in the first place? That was kind of a surprise in its own
Exactly.
right. So I mean, that's a good
But yeah.
shout.
Oh, Malachi. Just because I'm such a fucking mark.
Man,
But Danielson Cole is probably.
AEW is starting to have that thing though of like there's been so many surprises. Like they can't keep this up
Crazy.
much longer. They probably already are done. Like they're probably already out of ideas because they got
Every
like
time I watch an
6
AEW
people this
show,
year.
I sit there and I'm like waiting for the fucking surprise debut or like the
And you
return
see
every
that's
time.
not I feel like that's not a good thing because eventually it's going to be like ECW. They talked about it. A lot of people talk about old ECW. They talk about how like there were too many surprises for a while there where Paul Heyman kind of booked himself into a corner where like the crowd was going to get restless if you didn't have
Mm,
something. But it doesn't really feel like people are restless. It just feels like they want a company with all their favorite guys in it being able to actually have
that's
great
it.
matches, and that's really what it is. Because WWE will
Exactly
take
what it is.
WWE will have the best talent roster in the world, but they won't have the best wrestling, and that doesn't make any sense.
That's
So,
it. But yeah,
but now we move on to because we got four very serious awards that I'm gonna leave for the end because they're pretty much the best, like the best of the best.
exactly.
So now we're gonna do the two awards that are just me and Heel Boy enjoying ourselves. Um, just loving pro wrestling in our own way. Let's start with the Kurgan of the year, and before I let Heel Boy announce his Kurgan because it is his turn, I will describe to everyone listening what the Kurgan of the year entails. So the Kurgan of the year, if you are a wrestling fan of any extent past, a certain time period, or if you've just gone back, you would know about a man named Kurgan at some point because he was in the WWF for quite a bit. There was a group called the Oddities. Kurgan is one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. Why is he one of my favorite wrestlers of all time? Because he sucked. And he sucked so
True.
good. This guy Kurgan, right? Pause. This guy Kurgan is legitimately one of the worst wrestlers to ever step in a wrestling ring, But because he was so tall, so large, and could do a big boot amongst other maneuvers, the man kind of got over and had a pretty decently long career for how good he actually was. So the criteria to be a Kurgan in wrestling is to be a very large man that can't work but is very happy to be there because you're still going to have a good career because of the fact that you're big and can do a couple moves. And let me just emphasize that part of it. Being a Kurgan is a lot about just enjoying yourself and living in the moment and just loving life and loving the money that the company WWE is giving you to just be 7 foot tall or however tall you are, whether short, give or take some inches, being 7 foot tall and just tossing people around and just standing around doing nothing important. That's being a
So,
Kurgan. So I'm gonna let Heelboy go ahead and go on his Kurgan of the year.
yeah. So last year, I chose Dabba Kato in my Kogan of the year. I
Yes,
think you had almost, didn't you?
I had and
Which
I
turned
had
out
almost.
which turned out very wrong because he's actually fucking really good.
Yeah, he ended up actually being a good wrestler whenever he actually got in the ring.
He's good shit. But yeah,
But last year he
so
was,
this year,
three different gimmicks. So I mean, it kind of helped. But
this year I've gone for someone who recently no one knew him until maybe a month ago, and that's I went for Von Wagner as
ooh,
my Kurgan of the year
that's a
because
fun pick.
he got put in that NXT Championship match. Name me one move or spot that he did. Yeah, I thought so. That's
I
that to me is
didn't he
you
didn't he do
can't
a
you can't
Beal? Didn't he do a Beal
probably
toss?
he's a
That's
big man. They all do fucking Beal.
he's a
Probably
Kurgan,
did a
so it
big boot.
fits.
He definitely did a big boot for fuck's sake. He definitely did. But how tall is he? He's got to be. He's a big guy, isn't he? I'm not going crazy.
He's pretty. I think he's like
Is he a
six
big guy?
seven.
Oh, I don't know.
He's very. He's
Okay,
very.
he's 6'5", so
You're going with a pretty short Kurgan, but
I'm a little bit sure,
he is still.
but he's
I would give him Kurgan status if he was a couple inches taller, but I can see the argument because he looks bigger than he is.
he definitely doesn't look. He looks taller than 6'5". But yeah, I couldn't really think of many other people because all the big guys in wrestling at the moment, I think, are actually pretty fucking good. There's a lot of talented people, so it's difficult to pick.
Right.
I mean, there's definitely a couple, but I mean, it's difficult. But I went for Von Wagner just because fucking
He's a
based
big
to get put
guy.
in the NXT title match.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
What
like
were
your
you?
I like your Kurgan pick, but I'm gonna go with a guy that I think might actually change the name of the award by the time that his career's over. Because first off, he has a couple things going for him. First off, he has had multiple gimmicks already, such as Kurgan did. Second off, multiple of these gimmicks have been in factions of some sort, which really helps because Kurgan was always in a faction somehow. And if he has a really funny gimmick by the end of his career, then he's literally just Kurgan. Like if he has an oddities type gimmick,
Hmm.
um, this guy he is a little bit smaller as well. He's not necessarily. He just realized who I'm talking about. He's not necessarily almost or Dabakato sized, but he's pretty close. Um, and this is going to be the first time on any Dynamic Dance. We're only second episode in. We're already mentioning MLW, but I'm gonna go with
Oh my god, it is.
I'm gonna go with Contra Unit's Mads Kruger.
That's Kruger.
This guy has been Logan Creed. First off, he was Logan Creed and he sucked and he had dumb face paint. Then he was Grogan.
Such a good pick.
His name was Grogan. This man's name was Grogan, right? And then they said, okay,
Oh my
Grogan
god,
didn't really work
Grogan.
out. Grogan didn't work out, okay? So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna turn him into a German guy named Mads Kruger, and we're gonna put him in
That's
Contra
Kruger.
Unit. This guy is literally the cross of Luke Gallows and Braun Strowman. And it's a
Oh my
miracle to
god.
me. It's a miracle to me that this guy is in the same stable as like their biggest star, Jacob Fatu. He's literally in the same group as their biggest star. Are they?
Fuck.
And what I think they're trying to do is I think they're trying to put him in the same stable as their biggest star for the
Hmm.
idea that he will make everyone around him look even better. Because when he gets in the ring,
What?
he does like a choke slam, he does a big boot, he'll throw people, and then he just stands there and looks big. And he's done that for
Such a good
three.
pick.
He's done that for 3 gimmicks now. So, like I said, by the end of his career,
Unbelievable pick.
this man genuinely might change the name of the award to the Kruger of the Year, or the Grogan of the Year. Like
That's a Grogan.
the Grogan of the Year, bro.
That's an
It's
unbelievable pick.
that's just where I'm at. That's just where I'm at.
That's such a fucking yeah. Okay, I like that. Yeah,
All right, so Matt's Kurgan of the Year. You had um, Von Wagner.
fucking Von Wagner.
Both very fun
That's
picks, though. To be fair,
that's always
so
Matt's Kruger.
now we're gonna go to the other award that both of us, sort of use to settle our differences with the wrestling industry. We are going to be talking about the biggest dumbass from 2021. Now, this one could very easily change if someone stupid says something. Last year, it was fairly easy for me because I picked Nia Jax, and I also picked the guy that runs GCW, Brett Lauderdale,
My hero.
because of COVID, because they were both being dumb about COVID. And I can't remember who you picked, but I think it was like someone who had a similar thing where he was just being stupid about COVID. 2020 was easy for that because if you were an anti-masker, we were probably going to call you our biggest dumbass. But this year it's a little bit more
That's it.
complicated because this year it's not like that's as big of a topic. So we really had to find out who was the biggest dumbass, and it's my turn to go first here. Heelboy, you said you struggled.
very
You said
interested.
you struggled with this award, so I'm curious to see who you put. But mine came to me instantly. This was a guy who got fired from his only wrestling job this year and has proceeded to just prove that it was his only wrestling job every time that he's opened his mouth. And I'm going to go with Braun Strowman.
Wow.
And this is not me saying that he's necessarily like someone that I dislike. Like, it's not like a negative dumbass. He's just kind of stupid. Because I gave him this award simply because at one point he basically he did the Ryback thing of complaining about money based, like he acted like money shouldn't be based on where you are on the card if you're a wrestler at one point. But now it's just this rotating door of things that Braun Strowman has said about the wrestling business that proves that he hasn't ever been a wrestler before. Like, if you remember, I think this was a thing he said in 2020, but he actually doubled down on it this year. Of what was it? It was he was talking about independent workers and how they were complaining about pay and how they were complaining about how they struggled with, their life. Their quality of life was kind of low because they had poor income from being an independent wrestler, and it's because it was so hard to like make money, yada yada yada. And Braun Strowman basically just said, "Shut up and work harder," to like all of them, and didn't back them at all. And it was like, and he basically used his own story as an example of like how they should stop bitching. Except the dude was 6'8", 350 pounds, and jacked, and got signed to the Performance Center before he had even really wrestled before. So he was the wrong person to be saying that. And ever since he said that, he's just been doubling down on all that shit and just proven that he low-key just hates wrestlers. Like recently, he said that the WWE schedule was grueling. And the man would literally work one Monday Night Raw a week. And then Braun would frequently take time off. If you remember, Braun has had multiple stints where he wasn't even there. And he complained about the schedule a few weeks ago. Like, this guy just...
I never even thought about him. Honestly,
Dude, it's just, he said a lot of things. And I love the guy. But he's just kind of dumb. To the point where he's the biggest dumbass this year, in my opinion.
It's pretty good. I'm not gonna lie.
My rant's over. I want to see who you pick, though, because this award has a lot of weight to it, in my opinion.
It does. It definitely does. Who was it last year? Who did I pick? I can't remember. Will Ospreay. I picked Will Ospreay last year. I might pick him again this year. No, I'm joking. I nearly did.
Would have been fair.
so mine. Obviously, as soon as I say this, this guy, I don't know if anyone saw the Dark Side of the Ring for the plane ride from hell, but I went for Tommy Dreamer
Yep. You know what?
based on what he said. He not only said some just odd comments, some bad shit that offended a
That's
lot of people,
that's a better answer than mine. I'm not gonna lie to you.
befucked himself from going to AEW literally when they were in Philly the other week.
Yes.
So
He fucked himself
I
out
don't
of
have
his
much more to
Impact job
say, but
too.
it's like
That's the thing. Think about it. If you say something so stupid on television that you get fired from Impact or you get suspended from Impact Wrestling of all places,
exactly
then you're really down bad. Like that.
that's
Yeah. So you know what? That pick was better than mine because he was. It was just straight up misogynistic what he was saying,
exactly
and so
yeah.
yeah,
If
it's
she should have,
yeah.
if she shouldn't have taken the payout, what the fuck? Okay, all right, sorry, Tommy. Fuck.
You know what? That was a better
Yeah,
pick than mine. You're right.
that's all I got though. That's all I got. I did think about putting Carl Anderson in for the comments he made about WWE's
Ooh.
mental health support, but then again, it was one comment. He apologized for it straight afterwards, and that was it. It was just kind of forgotten. So it's
Okay.
just like a. But Tommy hasn't apologized still. He didn't really
Yeah,
care.
he didn't he like backed him. He like tried to double down on that himself, which is
He's
like
like, I didn't mean to offend anyone. He didn't say
th-
sorry. He just
that's
said it doesn't mean to offend
that's the
anyone.
thing though. The moment you double down on something stupid,
Exactly.
you kind of just instantly become a nominee for biggest dumbass. The moment you
Colt
double
Cabana's
down
doing
on
it
it.
at the moment.
Really?
Colt's, I think he accidentally said a racial slur on his term
He
on his
did.
stream.
He did, but it was like a thing about like he tried his
He's dyslexic.
yeah, he's dyslexic, which I'm like,
I don't know. I don't know.
we'll find
I
out.
didn't put him on there.
He's never called himself Clot Cabana, so I doubt it. But let's go with
He might
what
have done.
Clot Cabana. So let's go to the four sort of big awards this year because there's always four big ones, and I think the order that I have them listed in here. Let's actually go to. We'll move because we have best match. We'll move best
We do.
match to right before the best male and female. We'll go ahead and do breakout star next, and so I'll let Boy go ahead and start with his.
I wrote down 5 names for this.
All right, we'll
The
see.
big.
We'll see how many we both
Well,
have because I wrote 4.
okay. One of them we're both definitely going to have is Dante Martin, and that's without a shadow of a fucking doubt. If you don't have that, you're kind of crazy.
Yep.
I don't know if we will have this one. I wrote down Bron Breaker. He's gonna be.
That's the thing.
He is.
That's why I didn't
He's
because
about to be the NXT
he's
champion,
gonna
bro.
be, but that's why I didn't put him yet because he's
That's
gonna
fair.
be.
I wrote down Thunder Rosa because I think she's
Ooh.
established elsewhere, but it's for me, it's the fact that people know who she is now. So she's breakout in the sense of
Yeah.
she's actually getting her name out there more.
That's a good
So I
pick.
took it a little bit different.
That's a good pick.
And then sort of the same one really was Ricky Starks.
Ooh, yeah.
I think Ricky, literally exactly the same. He's fucking sick in NWA.
NWA, yep.
He was really, really fucking good, and not a lot of people watch NWA. I fucking don't. But I know I heard of him multiple times just because of all the work he did there. And he comes to fucking AEW. Guess think up with Brian Cage of all people. There's another biggest dumbass actually. Brian fucking Cage.
You know what?
We
Good
put Brian
shout.
Cage in there.
Good
And his
shout.
fucking stupid wife. Anyway.
Brian Cage and his stupid wife both in the
So I got
biggest
Dante
dumbass
Martin,
conversation.
Ricky Starks, Bron Breaker, Thunder Rosa. And then
Fifth,
I
finally.
did put Alexander Hammerstone. I'm a
Solid.
big
Solid.
MLW mark recently anyway. I really enjoy watching them. Now Hammerstone is fucking great. Has been great for a long time. Was with MJF in fucking Dynasty when they were in MLW. But I just think spoilers for anyone who hasn't watched MLW's most recent show, he won the fucking national openweight belt. Well, no, he retained the openweight belt, won the world title.
Yep.
He's had to give it up now, but what fucking match, dude? I mean,
Dude.
Fatu.
Match was insane.
It's difficult to have a bad match with someone like Jacob
Did
Fatu,
it?
especially like
Fatu like rolled his ankle real bad, didn't he? Like that.
yeah,
He damn
yeah,
near
he
broke
fucking.
it and still had a fun. Like he was still hitting moonsaults. That dude's stupid.
I
He
think
shouldn't. He's
Hammerstone.
no right.
Hammerstone should be your Brian Cage replacement in Team Taz. I think.
I think he could do a lot of things. Hammerstone reminds me so much of Hulk Hogan, but like actually a good
That's
worker.
it. But
So
actually good
like,
and
yeah,
isn't
but
racist.
yeah, like if Hulk Hogan was a modern, because he's not a fantastic worker by modern standards, but he's a lot better than
No,
Hogan was. But that's the
he's
thing.
just
If you put
charismatic.
right, if you put him on the same level as what like what the level of Hogan would be in today's modern wrestling, I think that's him already, and he has the same like look almost, and he's very charismatic, very similar to Hogan in a way. And I think that's why he is the world champion right now, because you can look at a guy like him and be like, that's my world champion, and be totally happy with it. So I like that pick. We
That's my five.
we only shared one person,
I'm
and
surprised.
that one person is obviously Dante Martin, because he is the actual pick for
I
me.
feel like
I
I
mean,
might
that's the
know one
guy.
of yours.
I kind of went weird with a couple of mine. I only have
Okay.
I only have four. I only have three honorable mentions. One of mine is kind of in the same boat as like your Thunder Rosa pick or your who's the other one that was similar to that? Ricky Starks.
Starks.
Ricky Starks, yeah. And that for me that was Damian Priest, because I feel like he got out of that,
Yeah, I
like
know that.
he got put on the main roster this year, and it felt like he was going to get used in a really weird way at the start of the year. And now he's the US champion, and he's been fantastic as the US
He could be
champ.
in best male. You could put him as best male,
Yeah, you
honestly.
you could make a real argument for something like that. Like he's had, like, ever since they
He's
made him a
really
singles
sick.
guy and like broke him off of the Bad Bunny stuff, which I still loved. I still love that stuff.
Of
But
course, yeah.
now that he's gotten past that stuff with like the Miz and Morrison and everything like that, and he's been just like his own man, he's been having fantastic matches and he's been winning them, and they've been pushing him,
He's
and like
super sick.
um. So he's sort of my guy for that kind of thing. Of like he was already established. A lot of people already knew him, but he's still breaking out on like a bigger scale this year. I do have an NXT 2.0 guy, but it's not Braun Breaker. And it's a guy that came in a little bit before 2.0, and that's Odyssey Jones.
Okay, I like
Dude,
that. Yeah,
I don't think no one knew who Odyssey Jones was before this
that's
year.
fucking good. You know,
And
that's a good pick. Man.
he is legitimately so fun to watch. This dude picked up, because I think he was a football player that they put in the PC like they always do.
Yeah, yeah.
And this guy took up wrestling so fast, and he's been so good. I
He's
think my
sick.
I think my favorite thing, he's like this is actually a better comparison to what I was saying about, because I was calling Hammerstone Hulk Hogan. Obviously, that's kind of a very loose comparison, but like if you want to say Odyssey Jones is this modern era's Mark Henry, you'd be spot on, because he really
Oh
is.
yeah, fucking yeah.
Like he's literally the reincarnation of Mark Henry, even though Mark Henry's still
Yeah,
alive. But it's Odyssey Jones has just such a great career ahead of him, and I feel like this is a guy that he's an honorable mention for breakout star this year. Whatever he does in 2022 could be the winner next year. Um,
it's very fucking true.
and then my other one, there was a lot of AEW guys I wanted to put on here, and Dante Martin obviously wins because he's like the main one for me.
Hmm.
But I have to give a shout out to Fuego del Sol.
I
I
like
just do.
that
I
too.
just do, bro. That's the big
That's
homie.
fucking
The
fair as
dude the
fuck.
dude went from a trampoline in Alabama to one of the most interestingly booked matches in AEW history, in my opinion, with the whole thing with Miro.
It's very
So
fair.
I just wanted to give him a little shout and just be like, you know what,
I
that's
like
my
that.
guy.
Yeah,
That's
that's
my
where it
homie.
goes.
So now
Nice.
we're on to sort of the big three. Um,
Yeah, man.
you know what I kind of want to do?
You tell me.
I kind of want to save best match for last, because matches make wrestling, and I think that's like a weird. I think we could be the only people to do that. I think we'd be the people to be like the match is more
I
important.
am. I'm in.
So
Let's do it.
let's go ahead then. If we're gonna do that, let's go ahead and do best female. Then, if that's the
Let's
case,
female. I have two for this, but
okay.
you're first, aren't you? Are you first?
I am first, actually. I only have
I
one.
have two for this. I have
I
two.
I will say you putting Thunder Rosa and Breakout Star. I actually almost had Thunder Rosa as my best female. Um, but instead I had her as my, or you had her as a Breakout Star. I just sort of had her off the list altogether. But my best female is Britt Baker. I think last year was gonna be her year until she got hurt, so she just tried to make the most of it, and then she came back stronger this year, and she's been at the least the best female in AEW this year, which is why the belt's on her. That's why she's had all these big matches, and she's been so fun to watch.
Exactly.
But more than that, I think you can just when CM Punk's return promo has you getting shouted out almost like 30 seconds into him speaking. If that's not any indication of how over you are,
Yeah, that's
then
fucking
what
true
is?
shit.
Like she went from a really good wrestler that people were into, that she was kind of over, and people knew she was going to win the belt at some point, but they were kind of just like she's one of the top females on the roster, and that was about it. Now she's definitively the number one, like hands down.
That's yeah.
So, and for me, the women's wrestling in WWE just hasn't really been it for a hot minute now. And so like I haven't really paid attention to it as much as I have with AEW. And so for that, in a way, I am kind of biased towards Britt Baker because she is the current AEW champ. But it just felt right to go Britt Baker there.
I also had Britt Baker, so I can spit out
Britt
Britt Baker
Baker.
and Britt Baker. Britt Breaker.
Breaker.
Yeah. I also obviously had her.
Nice.
The other one I wrote down is Thunder Rosa.
Oh shit.
So so whilst I did have her in breakout star, I think she's broke out so much and shown how good she is to become possibly the best female wrestler in the world at the moment. She's super fucking talented, charismatic as shit, just really good worker. Another one I really did think about putting into was Ali Catch.
Dude, I had her in breakout for a second.
Oh,
I dead ass did because she came out of
she's
she was already
so
known.
sick.
She was already known as Alley Cat, and then the Alley Catch thing started, and she just
Now
has
she's just a beast.
she's just blown up on the indies. Her matches got better. She's got
She's
really
looking good.
yeah, she's gotten really fun.
But definitely, yeah. Britt Baker, Thunder Rosa. I already said what I had to say about Thunder Rosa.
Honestly, I
Both you
think there's a
said
real. I think
exactly
the
the same
reason
thing.
why you're spot on is because Thunder Rosa is probably the best in-ring woman in wrestling right now, and then Britt Baker's probably the best.
Absolutely.
I'd say Britt Baker's the best total package. And then
Yeah.
if there was anyone from WWE to give a shout to, I mean, I would say it had to be Bianca Belair for me.
I
think,
did write her down, but I had her last year as my best female too.
and then also, I mean, Rhea Ripley's in the same boat still,
Rhea's been great.
but it's just for me, it's got to be Britt Baker.
In Indy Hartwell, you could put in a case for.
She could be a good breakout pick. Same with Index, but
Index are fucking awesome.
and now, since we did best female, let's go smoothly into Heel Boy's best male, the best male wrestler.
3.
I only have one.
I didn't do things in ones. I know yours is going to be.
Yeah, probably.
Now, I have 3 because one of them is for definite honorable mention. It's Roman Reigns. Now, Roman last year was my best male. This year, I don't want to do 2 in a row. So I've taken him just as an honorable mention. I don't need to say much about fucking Roman Reigns and his run. He's the best he has ever been. The bloodline are like the best thing in fucking wrestling in WWE right now. I don't need to say much more. Now, I did put down Kenny Omega because I feel like how can you not? AEW World Champ, fucking 5-6 star matches that I may end up talking about as the final one. Just fucking awesome. Honestly, if you want to talk about in-ring work like we did with Thunder Rosa, Kenny Omega is the guy that you want to talk about for the males, I think. There's no one that's a better in-ring worker right now than Kenny. He just is it. He's the one you need to watch. He's the one you want to work with, pretty much. But my best male I gave to Big E. How can you not? I mean,
I will say, yeah, I had him down at one point.
I don't know. You know, I am such a fucking New Day mark, and I always will be. My girlfriend, huge simp for Big E.
That's true. She is bigatory.
She's huge bigatory simp. Says like I can't not pick him. The dude came in, fucking winning that Money in the fucking bank. I didn't care if he announced it. He won it, and now he's just fucking announcing the Tyson Fury Deontay Wilder shit.
Yeah, that was so sick, dude.
Chills. And the guy, fucking fantastic. He's such a good worker, charismatic as shit. I just don't want him to ever break up the New Day, and I know it's coming soon.
It's pretty much already kind of happened too. That's the thing.
Um,
It's just a
but
matter
yeah,
of actually having it happen.
overall,
But
it's Big E for me.
overall, for me, you say you don't have back-to-back winners, and I agreed with every other award here. But this one, it just has to be Roman Reigns again for me, man.
So
I haven't seen another wrestler that has made me as interested to watch him this year until very recently, which obviously I'm not going to take like the past like 3 or 4 weeks to like a month and a half as like the entirety of the year because from January to like at least August, it was easily Roman Reigns was like the only guy that could really like keep me captured into wanting to watch every single thing he did. And
that's
then
fair, man.
I had Big E and Kenny Omega both written down at one point too, and then I just said, you know what, I'm just gonna put Roman Reigns. So we pretty much had the
Over
exact
Roman.
same top three. If we were doing it like a top three, because they are the guys. They're the guys to watch like
That's it. Yeah,
for
man.
like the best wrestling in the world right now, or like the best names. Because Big E isn't necessarily having the best matches, but he's just charismatic as shit. So like you kind of can't not enjoy him.
He's so sick. I just
Um,
really am a massive fan.
and now there's really just not much else to say though about Roman Reigns. The dude's just been fantastic. That's why I don't really have much to say because it's like
Well, yeah.
it's been like 2 years almost. It's getting to that point. It feels like, but I know it's only been like a year, but it feels like it's been a long ass time of just him being just the guy in
Fucking
WWE.
legend. Yeah, man. He's been pretty
Dude's
unbelievable
been peak.
in the past like year and a bit. But you
But
know,
yeah,
what can
I
you say?
so best match is gonna be the final award, and then we'll do our top five to watch out for. Um, and I'm gonna have to start best match. I know it's my turn to start. I want to deliberate on my list real quick if I want to make one of these an honorable mention or what. So I'm gonna actually let you go first if you want.
Okay. I have 4 matches written down. I told you I don't do things in ones. Wait, we've missed the category. We've missed one. Best tag team. We missed best tag team. We've missed
Well,
best tag team.
you were right about that, but I think we would have the same best tag team, and I think
Lucha
best match,
Bros.
yeah, Lucha Bros, and I think best match we'll end up
Easy.
talking about them anyway.
Yeah. So best match. I'll go for it. I have four matches.
Okay,
I have. I think this will be your number one. I have as an honorable mention, but I have Ilya Dragunov versus Walter. See, I know you too
okay,
well.
okay.
NXT UK Mark.
Well,
How can you not put
only
that in there?
only
That
whenever they
match
come to
was
the states. To be fair,
exactly that match was fucking unbelievable. One of probably Walter's best match I've ever seen, and I've seen a lot of Walter fucking matches. A bit of a random one. You and I stayed up to watch AAA. I don't know if you remember. I put Pagano versus Chessman, and I didn't really. That wasn't even a match. They teamed, but
oh,
no.
fucking
Who was it?
Pagano, man,
Ray Escopian versus fucking Psycho Clown.
that match
No,
was ridiculous.
no, I put Lucha Bros versus El Hijo del Viking and Ray the Kid.
Oh, wasn't there was a third team in that match?
Well, I just put that because I don't remember the third team.
The third team was Taurus, and I forget who his
Oh,
teammate was.
Taurus and fucking Brian
God,
Cage. No, wasn't it Brian Cage?
yeah, I don't.
I
I just
feel like
remember
it was Brian Cage.
I just remember the commentators saying Lucha Brothers and Taurus.
The Lucha Bros.
That's an interesting
Joe
shout. I like that
Nails.
shout.
Hold on, let me quickly find out who else is that. Yeah, it was Black Taurus and Brian Cage.
That's
Yeah.
wild.
That's not my number one. That's these are honorable mentions. Danielson's debut versus Omega is an honorable mention for me.
Fair, fair.
I don't feel like he. I don't know. It's very close to being my number one because Big Daniel Bryan Mark, Big Kenny Mark. It's the match we've all wanted to see for like the
Yeah.
past 2-3 years. We've seen it, but we haven't seen it that good. That is one of the first matches I can legit go. or one of many, I can actually go, that is worthy of 6 stars. That is a 6 star match.
Right.
But the match I chose as my number one, I think we might have the same one. We have already spoken about it. Is Lucha Bros versus the Young Bucks in the Steel Cage at All
Yes.
Out. I
Yes.
just,
So.
me and you, big Lucha marks.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And that was the fucking thumbtacks in the shoes, diving off of every fucking point of the cage. Phoenix just taking every bump known to man against the fucking steel. Just the storytelling was beautiful. Fucking Pentagon sacrificed himself. Phoenix just he had everything. And I think the ultimate, them winning natural tag titles and Alex Abrahantes looking very snazzy in his beautiful little
True.
suit,
True.
holding the
The
fucking tag
headdresses and
belts.
the entrances.
But oh my god, Ruckus came out and did the entrance. Oh my god, I forgot that.
Dude.
But yeah, too many.
So yeah,
Been many good matches.
you named out of your matches, you named all three of the ones that I had written down. Because of course, right? Because there's a pretty obvious like group of matches that were the best.
That's it.
I told you at one point that I had like an award where I had a tie, like two things won. Walter Ilya 2 and Bucks Bros tied. I'm giving them both the award for my end. Because one's a tag team match in a cage and one is a traditional singles match. So I just said, fuck it, let's give them both the win.
That's fair.
And then my honorable mention is Danielson versus Omega because that match was just stunning.
Unbelievable.
And then one that I thought of off the top of my head, or like kind of just a series of matches that one particular person has had this year. And granted, some of the people that he's worked with, I'm not the biggest fan of them, but Dave Meltzer, Dave Meltzer's loved these matches because he's a big Japanese bias guy. But Shingo Takagi has had some stunning matches this year.
Osprey.
Like
As
that's the
much
thing.
as
I couldn't say best match, but that match with Osprey was still fantastic. I just
unbelievable.
can't say it.
Only 6 star match this year, I believe. For
Something like that.
Meltzer,
Yeah,
is it?
I
Isn't
think
it
yeah.
like one of two that he's done this year?
I think he gave like a 5.25 or something like that for Shingo versus was it Tanahashi?
Yeah, so I think he's 6 star Lucha Bros and Books.
I think he did too. Yeah, but mine.
Either way.
I think because I prefer a good old singles match at the end of the day. So my actual number one, if I had to really do it, would be Ilya Walter 2.
I'm a big tag team guy.
I so last year I had Walter Ilya 1. And that match was kind of weird because it was in the NXT UK studio for COVID reasons where they kind of have no crowd. It's an interesting looking studio. I kind of like the feel of it. But it's NXT UK, so I don't watch it. But that match at the time I didn't think it was Walter's best match, but I thought it was Ilya's. I thought it was Ilya's best match to date. But Walter I thought had a better match with Pete Dunne, had a better match with Tyler Bate. I thought Walter had better matches on the like I thought if you want a more exciting match than the first match with Ilya, like it's not as dramatic or as grasping, but honestly, his match with PCO was still wild enough that I would even maybe watch that over the first Ilya match. But it was still like a top 5 to 10 Walter match in his career's history. It just wasn't maybe his best match because it was a great match, but it was still at a point where we knew Walter was going to win, and like I said, it still won my match of the year because it was so damn good. Like it
was
what
amazing.
that's the thing. Walter, for me, right? Every time that this guy wrestles and I actually like watch it, I get reminded that I genuinely think he might be my favorite wrestler, not just now, but maybe of all time. Because I have never seen a Walter match that I didn't not just like but love. Granted, I haven't seen every Walter match. That I will put that caveat in there. Maybe there are some that I just haven't seen, but this guy and the only thing that's like making me say that is because whenever he had his match with Tyler Bate, I thought, or whenever he had his match with Pete Dunne, let's go back to that point. Whenever he had his match with Pete Dunne, I thought, phenomenal match. Walter kind of just did his stuff that he always does. Maybe I just loved it because of Pete Dunne. Then he had the match with Tyler Bate. I was already a big Tyler Bate guy, so maybe I just liked it because of Tyler Bate. I couldn't really tell. And now that he's had these two matches with Ilya, and even like the match with Isn't he redacted now? But um, old Joseph over there in NXT
Uh,
UK. Like every time this guy has wrestled, it's been fantastic.
yeah.
And now with these two matches against Ilya was a guy that I thought was really, really good, but I didn't think he would have like all time classics the way that he worked. And then he wrestled Walter the first time, and I thought that was the best match of the year. And then the second time, I thought there was no way they could top the first one, and then they did it, and they did it. They blew it out of the water in the second. Like first off, Ilya Dragunov is the most. He has the best like desperation face I think maybe in wrestling. When
Mm,
that guy
that's
is trying to sell that he is on like his last leg of trying to win a match, I think he does it almost as good or if not better than anyone else in wrestling right now. And Walter is so intimidating that
yeah, you fucking 1,000%.
they just match so well. And that second match, dude, the final 10 minutes was just nonstop building up to.
Unfucking believable.
Yeah, it was just nonstop building up to Ilya's gonna win this. Like he's gonna win it. And we had like the first Ilya match, Pete Dunne, Tyler Bate, all these matches that I've been naming, even redacted, all these matches I've been naming. At some point in the final 10 minutes
Minutes.
at the in the final 10 mimics, it feels like Walter's finally gonna lose. And then oh, he catches him with a big chop, and then he hits him with like the power bomb or the splash or something, and then he actually ends up winning. And Walter's the champ still. That's how it's been. This time,
Yeah.
what they did is Ilya just continued to just lay it on and lay it on and lay it on. We're talking, it was nonstop. It was nonstop, and it was speed and volume versus power. That was the match. And this guy, when he gets that damn choke in for like the fourth time in a row, and just
Mm,
and literally lifts him off his feet to make him tap out. When I tell you I like actually teared up from how excited I got whenever I first
yeah,
watched
that
it, I
shit is
dead ass
fucking.
like it gave me goosebumps.
That was fucking different. Yeah.
I know I just talked about that match for
Some.
like at least 7 minutes, but I just
No,
dude
that.
it
You talk that shit, bro.
Ilya versus Volter was just like I said. I think Volter's he's at the least I think he's my favorite wrestler in current wrestling. The dude just does not have a bad match.
That's very fair. That's super fair, man.
Now
I can understand that.
that was our award show for 2021. Our way too early awards. I will say one thing I didn't mention to Heel Boy. I am kind of running on time. My dad is off, and I have to pick him up because he's drunk and I'm his designated driver a lot. And I didn't really think about the possibility that I could run out of time doing this because we were going to talk so hard about everything and not get to the top five. But actually, the top five is a really good list for another episode because we could definitely flesh out a top five for 2022 and who to look out for.
I have a
And
top 7 anyway, so
okay, well then how about this? I'll make mine a top seven, and then we'll just
there we
make it
go.
a full thing for next episode. Um, because that'll be a fun. I mean, that's always a fun topic. Is who do we
Oh
like
yeah,
for the future? Because
absolutely.
you never. It's always a prediction, so you never know how true you actually like. Nothing's ever set in stone with that kind of thing. Like it's always kind of up in the air. So I think how about we'll leave you guys on that. We gave our awards, and now next episode, be expecting we will be talking about our top seven wrestlers to watch
Top
out for
7.
2022, and obviously that list could also change come the end of the year. Um, and yeah, dude, that talking about best match made me really happy. But also, I think my favorite award still is gonna be Kurgan of the Year every year that we
Gorgon
do
of the year.
this.
Matt Kruger. I can't
Matt,
believe it.
that was
Gorgon of the year.
Matt Kruger can
Grogan.
really
Gorgon.
Grogan of the Year, Josh Groban of the Year. That should that, that should be the next award, Josh Groban of the Year.
Down.
Um, yeah. Before we wrap this up, is there anything else? Oh, you know what? Now that we're done with the awards, here's one thing that we didn't talk about. Like on the last episode, we talked about our sort of preview of Wilder versus Fury 3. and now it's happened.
It's almost like we know boxing.
Yeah, it's almost like Deontay
It's almost like
Wilder.
we knew it was going to
It's
happen.
almost like the whole world knew that Deontay Wilder wasn't going to develop anything other than a right hook before this fight. No, it was
Yeah.
Tyson Fury has the best chin like in the world. This man took a clean right hand on the jaw. Did you see the fat? Did you see the slow motion of his fat
Fucking,
rippling?
he was
Tyson, but
so
yeah,
fucking
Tyson
dead.
Fury with an 11th round knockout of Deontay Wilder, just a brutal fight, and
Mm.
both men got dropped before that. They were just slugging. One of the best fights in a long time.
Honestly, that fight was
It was
one of the greatest
bizarre,
heavyweight
dude.
fights I've
It was
ever fucking seen.
bonkers.
Some
And
people
then
are saying it's the greatest heavyweight fight ever.
see, I don't know if I'd
Might
go.
be.
I don't know if I'd go that far, but it's definitely up there. I'd have to like
Oh
look
my
back,
god.
but
Yeah, that's unbelievable.
and then after the fight, there was a little bit of controversy because Deontay Wilder's team is still trying to claim BS because I guess whenever Fury got knocked down the first time, it looked like he could have been out, and the like the referee did botch, and this is the same referee that has had some botches in his career because this referee is the same one that there was a title fight where a fighter, or not a title fight, but like a really big important fight where a contender legitimately, like he repeatedly threw low blows, and the referee never got onto him about it, so he got
Yeah,
away
I know
with
what you're
it.
talking about.
This
Yeah, I
same
think I know what
it
you're
was
talking
the
about.
same referee for that low
Oh,
blow
okay.
fight, and he had a blunder where he like counted. He went 1, 2, told Wilder to go to his corner, and then didn't pick up from where the ringside counter was at. So he went back to 3 when it really should have been like 6.
Six, yeah.
So it became a really long count, and Wilder's team is starting to use that as like an argument as to like, oh, if you look, you wouldn't have won. Um,
They'll make up any excuse.
on top of that, they're still saying the glove thing, and Wilder had
Yeah,
his
it's still
thing
the
in the
glove
ring
thing.
where did you see that where Wilder's like, I don't respect you.
What
Like
a piece of shit,
I know
honestly.
Wilder's just being a sore loser about it,
Graceful
but
in defeat, graceful in victory.
at the end of the day, though, you know who is graceful in victory? Tyson Fury, because that man sang his heart out as soon as the fight ended.
He is my hero.
That was
He is
gorgeous,
so
bro.
fucking sick.
That was gorgeous. Walking in Vegas. That
He's
was
my fucking hero. Put on my Bruce
news and
shoes. Legend, honestly,
he
Tyson.
said
If you're watching, I
what was
love
one
you.
of the lyrics that he made it? He turned that song and he said fly as a man can be. No. Tyson Fury, goddamn legend, one of the all time appearances.
Absolute
Um,
fucking hero.
man's got the duck bill going.
Looks like a fucking fez.
Looks like you're wearing a
It
damn.
shows how
What is that
terrible
called?
my hairline is too.
Is that called a bonnet? What is it called? It's not a bonnet for you guys.
On it. Look at me. It shows how terrible my hairline is too.
Don't do that to yourself, bro.
That
Oh my god, the forehead be rocking, bro.
got that fucking Dracula cut, bro.
But dude, I'll tell you what, I fucking boxing was that was all really fun. The UFC kind of sucked. It was just a
Yeah, yes,
this
she's terrible.
like that whole weekend after we last recorded this was so like it was good, but it was like
Yeah.
not a whole lot really happened besides that Wilder Fury fight. That was the only thing to really talk about. Um, that's another thing. I guess I'll say it because if you notice a pattern in the first 2 episodes, you'll notice it from weeks on. Is that we're gonna try to do these every single Friday. So expect Dan Friday. I wish Dan started with like the same letter as like a day in the week,
Hmm.
but unfortunately it doesn't.
Friday. No.
Friday. Friday. What about Wednesday?
Wednesday's pretty good, but it's on a Friday.
Exactly. So it's like whatever. I I was gonna say this earlier. This is why I was like, we'll wait till like a post show type deal. So we have this is just a random thing. We have really phenomenal patio furniture, and
Hmm.
it's like I've been saying this for like a long time now that I think it would look like fantastic for a podcast. But I need to figure out like I need to get a laptop is what I need to do because I need to like
Mm,
do a whole setup or my setup for these dynamic DNs is at the little patio setup because I think it'd look really sick.
that'd be cool.
Like I want to get like the camera laptop set up on like the table and then I'll sit on like the big couch bit or like one of the chairs maybe even and I'll actually like hold a microphone instead of wearing the headset. I think that's what I want to do.
That'd be pretty sick.
That
Who's
maybe
that?
maybe in due time I can bust that out
That would be pretty sick.
for the homies. But
Definitely.
but yeah, I think next episode we'll do top 5 or top 7 um and then we'll just chat shit. And then after that, it would be the next episode after that would be on the 29th, which would be pretty much Halloween. Pretty much the
Halloween
Halloween episode. Let's go ahead and agree on it now, Hugh boy. Well, I don't know what your Halloween costume is going to be, but I'm
Oh
saying
no.
let's wear some Halloween costumes
I gotta wear a Halloween costume, sure.
for
I'm
the
down.
episode for the Halloween episode.
I'm
And
down.
if anyone watching in the comments right now, or if you want to get in the comments, or if you want to just like, a lot of the people watching can just DM me. God damn it. Let me know what you think. Tweet at me. Tweet at Feel the Heel Heat. What do you want us
Hey.
to do for the Halloween episode? Because I feel like we need to have something fun to do for that besides just wearing costumes. So let us know for that. Like I said earlier, I do have to go be a designated driver for a little bit. Um, so
Go do that. You go
yeah,
do it. Go get
yeah,
daddy.
yes. I'll be a good. I almost said I'll be a good daddy.
Be a good. Whoa. Hold up.
Just jizzed on the fucking concrete.
Just on a
Yeah.
fucking concrete.
Yeah. One of these days, one of our special guests should be Billy. It should be Frog.
Billy on. I'll let him know.
Yeah, at any point soon we'll probably have special guests at some point. I bet Frog would be a great.
There's definitely a few people that we are aware that do want to come on. So
Especially we know another Dan that's also into the same things that we're into. That would be
oh my god, AK's called
Yeah.
Dan, isn't he?
Yeah, AK's name is Dan.
Oh my god.
That's the thing. We have to get AK on because if AK is hilarious and I think he'd be very fun to talk to. A lot of people probably that we talk to haven't really seen his face, but he has a very beautiful face. If he is willing to come on with his camera, that'd be
I've never seen his face.
yeah.
I'm one of those people.
He is a sexy man.
Good
I can
shit.
guarantee you that he would fit right in with us too with this damn camera. I tell you what, it just that if we can get another Dan on here, we'll start with him and then we'll move on to like if we were to get like a wrestler, maybe we get like Daniel Garcia, and then we keep then we move on to like
Well, let me see if any Dans follow me.
who's
on
the
my design.
who's the Dan that you want on the show the most by the end
The
of the
Dan
year?
that I want? Danhausen wouldn't be too
Dan
bad.
Housen would be funny.
Danny Limelight. That would be
Oh, if we can
Slice
get,
Boogie.
I was about to say if we can get Danny Limelight, then we can get Slice Boogie, and if we can get Slice Boogie, then we've peaked.
Dante Martin.
Warzone
Or,
streamer Adan.
Daniel Cormier. That'd be pretty sick.
I was gonna say, what if we got Daniel Radcliffe on the show?
I don't know. Not all British people know each other. Before you ask me, I don't know.
Let's get Daniel Radcliffe on the. No, let's get I was trying to think if there's any musicians that I could think of named Daniel, but my brain just didn't even.
Daniel. I don't know. I don't know many. Daniel Dubois. Let's go. The boxer on.
Dan Carpenter. That's someone. Surely. That sound. I mean, doesn't that name sound like it'd be someone somewhere?
Dan. Dan. Google it. Dan Hooker. That'd be kind of sick.
Oh, Dan Hooker.
Dan Carpenter is an American football place kicker.
What the?
Former American football place kicker. He was signed by the Miami Dolphins as an undrafted free agent in 2008.
Let's get Dan Carpenter on the show, bro. Talk about American
I will
football.
find his agent.
Let's get I don't even
Daniel
know
Bryan.
Daniel Bryan. Let's get Daniel Bryan on the show. All right. Comment what you want us to do for Halloween and comment your favorite Dan. All right. I am going to escape into the door
George.
of I'm going to escape into the door of what is happening. Let me see if I can get rid of my background real quick so you guys can see the door.
Oh.
Oh, that didn't do it.
Oh my god, what is happening?
I'm
Why are you
confusing the listeners. All right.
why are you vertical right now?
I'm the art of verticality is special.
That is. Come
Give
on.
me let me turn. All right. What an angle that was. All right. I'm going to show everyone what's behind the door like I said and then we're going to be done. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a bathroom. All
Let's
right.
go.
Let's get out of here.
Oh wait, hold on.